Hi there, it's Miss Bueno, and we are going to talk about writing today. Our writing target is writers can use sentence frames to help them elaborate their facts. Last week you watched a video on writing about elaboration techniques. And elaboration techniques is just a fancy way of saying adding information, adding more information. So we are going to look at the same elaboration techniques that you learned last week, and I am going to give you some sentence frames that you could use as you write. Just like when we do the word lady and use sentence frames, you can change the sentence frames. They're just meant to help you if you're stuck. Okay, so let's take a look at our elaboration techniques and our sentence frames. I wrote you a sentence frame for main idea, even though that isn't part of elaborating, just because I thought it might help you. So when you are writing your topic sentence, your main idea sentence, you could use this. A, is or are, depending on what it says, and examples of are. In my writing today, you'll see an example of that. All right, so the first elaboration technique that we saw is describe, and the sentence is a looks. Notice that I've put a yellow box around that. When we look in my writing, whenever it is described, you will see the words highlighted in yellow. All right, our next elaboration technique is example. Here's our sentence frame. An example of is and notice it's orange. Next is define. A is a and that one is purple. The next one is use. The is used to and that one is green. And finally, parts. The has parts for All right, as you're writing your facts, some of these will be better choices than others. So I did a little writing to show you how I think about it. I'm continuing with the book about gardening that the third grade teachers have been working on. And you can see at the top of my slide, I put some examples of types of plants. So we have flower, vegetable, tree, and herb. My main idea sentence is plants are living things, and examples of kinds of plants are flowers, vegetables, trees, and herbs. And if you look at my main idea sentence frame, you can see that I pretty much used that. I said plants are living things, and examples of kinds of plants are flowers, vegetables, trees, and herbs. Okay, again, it's a sentence frame meant to help you, so I changed it a little bit to be just right for my sentence. All right. So I listed flowers first, so I wrote about flowers first. Notice that I have highlighted this yellow because I used the sentence frame for describe. A looks. So if we look at my sentence here, it says, people often grow flowers in gardens because, and here's where I use the frame, flowers look pretty and smell good. And since I was thinking about flowers, I decided to add a little more description about how they smell. I didn't just talk about how they look. All right, now you can see that this is highlighted orange. That means I have used example, which is another elaboration technique. An example of a type of flower is a rose. Okay, so here's our sentence frame for example. An example of is and my sentence is an example of a type of flower is a rose. I pretty much stuck with the sentence frame there. Vegetables are another kind of plant that people grow in gardens and on farms. This one is a definition, define. So I made it purple. Here is our define. A is a And again, I pretty much stuck with the sentence frame. Vegetables are another kind of plant that people grow in gardens and on farms. All right. People grow vegetables because they are used for food. This one is green. I used the elaboration technique of use. The sentence frame is the is used to And I didn't stick exactly with that sentence frame, but it's pretty close. People grow vegetables because they are used for food. I just changed up that last 2 that's in the sentence frame to 4. Here's another example elaboration technique. An example of a vegetable is a cucumber. And if you look at the sentence frame, for example, you will see that I really used that sentence frame. An example of a vegetable is a cucumber. All right, we've got another define, which is an elaboration technique. A tree is a kind of plant that grows in gardens, parks, and forests. And if you look at define, you will see I did use the sentence frame. A tree is a kind of plant that grows in gardens, parks, and forests. All right, this one is another use. I used the elaboration technique of use. Trees are used to give shade because they are big, and some trees are used for fruit. I used it twice. So if you look at our sentence frame, the is used to. I didn't stick with it exactly, but pretty close. Trees are used to give shade because they are big, and some trees are used for fruit. Okay, an example of a fruit tree is an apple. And here I used example, which is an elaboration technique. An example of a fruit tree is an apple tree. I used our sentence frame exactly. Here's another definition. Herbs are a kind of plant that people grow in gardens. The herb is used to flavor food. And there again, I used the use elaboration technique. And I used our sentence frame. The herb is used to flavor food. The part of the herb people often use is the leaf. And as you can see, again, I've used the use elaboration technique. An example of an herb is basil. And you've got it. That was using the elaboration technique of example. Now this is my final sentence that ties everything together. There are so many kinds of plants, and they can be used for many things. I could have gone on. There's a lot you could say about plants, but you can see, if you look at this writing, how many of these elaboration techniques I used when I was writing, and how I used these sentence frames to help me think about how to put my sentences together. So as you are doing your writing, I hope you come back to these sentence frames and these elaboration techniques. Remember, that just means ways to add information to your text. And you use some elaboration techniques in your writing to give more information. And I hope that these sentence frames will help you do that. All right, have fun writing. Bye.